This BMW has suffered a vandal attack, resulting in both quarter panels being kicked in. In my last video I showed you guys how I saved the passenger side, and in this video I'm going to show you all the steps that I took to repair the driver's side, just by using the paintless dent removal techniques and ultimately saving this vehicle from the paint shop. So grab a brew and enjoy. This quarter panel doesn't look any better. Multiple dents again, pretty much the full quarter panel. This area here is just blasted to bits. Okay, we've got the added difficulty of the filler cap, but I'm going to take the housing out and just see if I can get my fingers behind there, because that'll help me get to these sharp dents here. Okay, these are deep dents. The body line has also been affected on the arch, just makes things a little bit more harder to do. To access the damage, I'm going to be stripping the interior trims out. I'm going to take the filler housing out, like I said. Arch liners, I'm just going to take these out, just see if there's any grommets inside that'll help me. The rear lamp's going to take those out so I can get my arm in. Okay, and I need a lot of luck. I'm nearly done with the strip down now. The inside trim, the light and this filler cap have come off. It's only held on with a little clip. Nice and easy to take it off. This plastic housing, however, is a bit of a pain. So the filler neck, I've had to disconnect that or unclip it anyway, so I can pull it down, and then I'm just trying to carefully wiggle this out. But because the panel is bent inwards, it's not really giving me any slack. So I'm going to have to cold glue pull this area just to lift it out a bit, maybe, you know, about ½ an inch or something, and that should give me enough to wiggle the housing out. Just give it a little warm up as well. Ooh, that's a bit better. Okay, that should do. Should just go around the full quarter panel with that. I'll be done in ½ an hour, won't I? Okay, that took some taking out. So how's it held in? We've got 4 clips here. Okay, either side. Sorry, 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom. Okay. Warm this up with a heat gun, then you can get something in flat like a spreader and push them down. Okay, I didn't realise that there was this big rubber neck at the back, and that's what was holding it in along with the panel. And yeah, there you go, that is it. So I've just wiped all the marks off so I can have a better look at it, and I've just had a quick look inside with the torch just to see about access and stuff like that. And to be fair, the access is absolutely amazing. Can get in all around here, can get in through here, go through the grommet as well, so I can get to every part. I mean, this bit here, that's got a bit of sealer in there, so I can't get the bar in, but it's just like the other side. So my plan is to warm it up, get my hand in there a little bit and just pull this out and get that line straight again. It's not going to take a lot to straighten that, I don't think. Okay, and then the main area is going to be around here and around the body line. That's going to give me some trouble, I think. So I'm going to be glue pulling that line back in with whatever comes to hand. And all this stuff around here, that's just the same as the other side. Around this area here, I'm going to be using the fender pliers, I think, just to get in there, and I'll put a block of wood in there and get a bar in. But yeah, everything's accessible, and although it looks horrendous, I think I can make a good job out of this. So let's get cracking. Here is one last look at the damage before I start the repair. The quality control disc is there to cast a reflection on the battered panel, and those lines are everywhere. The fuel housing area doesn't look like fun either from this angle. To start off, I'm heating the damaged area to wake up the panel and make it more malleable. Those areas around the fuel door are very tight and the paint is under so much strain, so the heat is just there to make it more workable. Checking how far in the panel is with a straight edge along the body line, then gripping through this hole with my hands and giving this a few light but firm pulls. I keep checking with a straight edge until I'm happy, bearing in mind it's just a guide as the panel has a natural outward bow in its undamaged form. Then back in with the cold glue by Glexo. I love this stuff. Okay, here we go. Literally lifting up hours worth of work in only a few pulls. Adjusting my reflection board and warming up the arch, ready to get some hot glue tabs in there and start pulling it out. Get a crease tab on there, right on that body line. Actually no, I'm just going to go above first. Stick one on the body line as well. These crease tabs are from Black Plague. They're my absolute favourite and they also last forever. These pull amazingly well too. Team this up with a slide hammer or adjustable lifter, and again I can lift so much out in just a short amount of time. I'm just roughing out the larger dents around the body line area, just seeing what comes out and what doesn't, but up to now it's moving pretty well. Quite impressed. Just a little bit at a time. I know I can get to the back of it, but glue pulling is nice and easy. Another crease tab on there, lots of glue. Right on that body line now. Get another crease tab on there. And just adjust the mini lifter. Just a few crowns at the bottom here, at the top of the dog leg. Just going to knock those down just to release a bit of pressure, a bit of tension. Okie dokie. Bit more glue pulling on here. Just going to go below the body line. Going to warm it up first, just to make the panel and the paint a little bit more flexible. This dent is a bit tricky as it's dented above and below the body line. The first tab is just below the line and I'm adding a lifter to this, but I'm adjusting it enough to add pulling pressure to the tab, and then adding another tab above the line and using a lightweight slide hammer to pull the dent and the tab out. This is also known as a double action method, and a bridge puller can also be used. This will ease tension lower down and help the damage above come out better. Okay, I've spent about 10 or 15 minutes just roughly glue pulling the body line area up around the arch, but that's identified a few crowns that I need to tap down. So tapping these down again is going to release all the tension in the panel. I think it just actually went pop a minute ago as well, somewhere. I don't exactly know where, but it did go pop. So that's a good thing. So there's quite a large crown here. Going to knock that down, and just any other crowns that are around the area, going to go and address those too. Choosing my best crown killer knockdowns, the flat nose and the cherry cap, and my lovely green hammer, and getting all that heat into this tight crown. I can work this from top to bottom over and over again until the area has been lowered. I'm not after perfection at this stage because either side of this will be lightly pulled down with all the tapping, which I can adjust as I go along with more glue pulls, but the main thing is it will release all that important tension that I keep mentioning. Okay, so still cracking away with it, doing various areas around here. I've gone back onto the bodyline area on the arch, but I have noticed that the panel is still rolled in, so I'll just show you. Okay, so the panel should be kind of sat like that. Okay, and can you see where the bodyline is quite far in? If you can see that. So I need some kind of glue tab that's going to help me pull that out. So here we are. Use the Kiko stuff. This is designed for archers. Just show you. There you go. You can see how it contours with the arch. So in addition to this, I'll need an attachment, okay, and that slides on. I'll try and do this with one hand. It slides on like that. Can you see? Okay, and then we attach it to a pulling device, and in this case, I'm going to be using the K-bar strong arm. That goes on to the panel like that, and then you lift the dent out like that. Okay, so I'm going to get it set up on this panel and hopefully show you how it pulls the panel out.
These crease tabs have a curve to them which suits the wheel arches, and also cutouts on the rear which help the tab mould to the shape of damage. These tabs need plenty of glue applying. Cam Auto Collision or Kiko Flex Glue is the best for these, making sure you don't get dripped on by the molten glue, because trust me, this hurts, so wear gloves. And then firmly applying the tab to the area you want to lift up. In my case, it's that bodyline. To be sure I'm pulling at the correct temperature, a laser thermometer is used, and I'm aiming for 29 degrees C. Then I can attach the strong arm to the tab and adjust the foot, making sure it's firmly placed, ready for the controlled pull.
Nice. Pulled it out a lot, did that. Best way to get these tabs off is just to soak them and then go on the edge like that and just give it a little twist. It'll come off in a second. There we go. Ooh, horrible sound. Ta-da!
If you're enjoying this repair, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Okay, plenty of carefully placed small pushers to ease out the tricky low areas above and below this bodyline. I also used a bar to push through some of that bonding at the edge of the panel, and after a while it was getting to my hands, but I think that's because I need another coffee. Repeating the process of laying down those slight high areas, again with another knockdown, and this time it's slightly sharper for more precision. Above the bumper as well, and a lot of glue pulling to ease up that panel and reshape it to the natural concave shape it used to have.
What has felt like hours to me is seconds to you, but it's looking a lot better. Okay, so basically what I've done is I've just smoothed all this arch, just smoothed all the dents out. It's a little bit ripply still, but it's a million times better. Whew, hard work that was. Right, I'll let you have a look. So there you go. So now I'm going to be looking at this area here and just around here. So anything around the petrol flap, there's quite a lot of work to be done there, and that's quite tight. Is that I'm going to be using the fender pliers, see if I can get them in there. I should be able to, and then just going to nibble away at that dent. Once that dent has come out, then I can knock that crown down, which is that ugly looking thing there. And yeah, it's transformed a lot, to be fair, and I was very, very worried about this quarter panel, but yeah, there we go. Right, let's go on with it.
I've gone with the edge pliers as the reach on these are short and they fit perfectly in the housing hole. I've also paired the pliers up with a soft cap screw tip bound with Tezza tape, as this is my safest choice, allowing me to use a lot of pushing pressure but without any concerns of splitting the paint like sharper tips could do attached to these pliers. and I definitely don't want that to happen at this stage of the repair. I'm carefully nibbling away, trying to get the tip right into the edge where that recessed fold is. My viewing point is between the 2 feet on the pliers, which can be awkward sometimes, and that's why the other versions were made, as they have wider and adjustable feet. These edge pliers are best for door edges, but as you can see they also work with repairs like this too. Okay, the damage has roughly been lifted up, but I am struggling to make it any better until that high crease has been knocked down. So I'm getting straight into that using a mid-range knockdown, not too sharp though, but enough to be accurate and effective. Too sharp a knockdown and it would really mess up this part, or possibly scratch the painted surface, as this crease is solid to move. Warming up the area would only soften up the paint, so I've got to be careful. Once the crease has been lowered and made better, more tension is eased around the area and I can carry on nibbling away at this dent. Those high spots will be tapped down and I'll repeat this process until the area is clean and levelled up. Moving on to the next dent, and the same applies to this one, only we don't have the prominent creases, so this repair is straightforward. This area took most of the force when it was impacted, and it's moved at least a few inches inwards. Luckily most of this damage has popped out, but there is still a few small dents remaining. So a few pulls with the glue and this front area is finished off and looking really nice. There's just one more area on the fuel surround to fix, so I'm swapping direction of repair, placing a few small crease tabs into the dent and then lifting up the bulk, and then lifting up the rest with the edge pliers. There's a few small areas left to fix, but I'm struggling with access because this fuel neck is in the way, so I need to try and remove this or lower it down a little bit more.
Halfway. That should be alright.
So I was just checking the fuel level there because I need to disconnect the pipe from a fuel tank and I didn't want to be covered in diesel. This isn't a difficult job to do, just a Jubilee clip and a few more 10mm nuts. Good. And I'm able to wiggle the pipe down enough to help me out. So I mentioned earlier about getting a block of wood in there for leverage, and this was a great idea. The edge pliers are amazing at repairing dents, but I need to get in there and lift up the panel over an area to align it with the flow of the body. So using a J-bar with a screw tip and a block of wood, this is an amazing effective setup to carry out this part of the repair. The dogleg on the offside panel is repaired the same as the other side. I can only use the glue pulling in this area as there's no access at all from the inside. And for those of you that are confused why I'm talking about dog's legs, well, it's pretty simple. It's because the arch to sill part of this panel is shaped like a dog's leg.
Wise guy, huh?
We're nearly there now with the repair and I am spending more time on the arch area. There's still a few dents that are not quite right, and as you can see from the time lapse, there's lots and lots of time spent fine tuning. That's because the tension has been released over the full panel and all the areas previously repaired will have slightly moved out of shape. So there's lots of retracing my steps to get that finish that I'm after. The fuel housing hole on this side was very much welcomed, and it enabled me to use some small flat PDR bars to reach the bottommost parts of this arch. Without this hole, I reckon I would have struggled to get some tools in. This bar is called a whale tail because the end is shaped like a whale's tail. This is being slid down into the tight gap, and then I can rock the bar, levering it off the inner arch and pushing the dent out from the painted side. It is a sharp tool, so I need to be steady with this one, and it's a very torquey tool as well. Once I'm happy that I've sorted the small high areas with my knockdown and hammer, I can check this area with my QC board and give the panel a good old rub like a panel beater would. That is from my sanding down filler days, but it's highly effective at feeling large repairs like this for soft lows and ripples that the eyes might not see. The rear crown area is less damaged than the other side was, but it's still very obvious and it needs to be sorted. Using the flat nose knockdown, I'll be able to lower this area in no time, and because it's a leather tip, it won't leave any impressions in the panel, making this one quick and smooth repair. A few tweaks of the bar from the inside and this area is done. And I'm on to the last area of repair on this quarter panel, and it is the C-pillar. Just a few high areas to knock down, and using the fuel hole I can get a bar in this time, instead of relying on the hot glue to finish this part off.
Okay, the quarter panel is finally done. I just need to give it a polish and try and get rid of a few of these scratches. Next, what I need to do is fit this. So because I've disconnected the filler neck, it'll help me fit this a lot easier, see if it fits around the edges, reconnect the filler neck, and then all that's left to do is repair this fuel housing door and fit the car back up. There we go, it's all nice and secure now, fit in, all the clips are back on, just got to reconnect the pipe. So if we go underneath, there we go, just got to put the pipe on, otherwise when it comes to fill it up, it'll go all over the floor.
This fuel door had been twisted from the impact, and most probably the part which took the boot. You can see that I'm struggling along with this small panel on the time lapse. The impact had twisted this small panel, and these are very fiddly to repair because of the size.
Okay, I've been glue pulling for a little bit and it's getting there, but as it's open it means I can push from the inside. So I'm going to use this tool. This is the tool stool, okay. Basically it's just a stand with a tip on the end, okay. But it's kind of like having free hands, so I can hold this and I can put it in the light and I can just pull the petrol door down onto the tip, and then I can lift up the dent. So there you go, very simple but effective tool stool, dent slayer, A1 tool, there you go.
The tool stool helped me so much, giving me that third hand. I needed to hold the door with both hands and be able to apply pressure onto the tool, making sure the door was rotated whilst repairing it so I can see from all different directions and fix all the buckles and bring this damage up nice and evenly.
Nice one, I've managed to save it. Right, let's have a look, see if this fits. This is the final piece of the puzzle. Ready? Thank you for watching until the end, I really appreciate it. I've got one more video coming out soon, and this one is a longer one. I've incorporated both of these repairs onto one video, and I go a lot more in depth into the tools that I use and more in depth with the process of repairing it. So if you really want to see the full extent of these repairs, you can't miss it. And that is going to be in a couple of weeks on my channel. But for now, thanks very much. Cheers.